for our annual take on games, comics, and movies in the years so far. This is obviously for games for the first part of the year in this glorious year of 2026. I'm joined by a couple of folks who couldn't get their asses out of bed on time. First of all, Peter.
Morning.
And finally, Wombat.
Good morning. Yeah, I don't see you getting out of bed at 4 a.m. either, so
bitch, please, I get out of bed every day at 3:30 a.m. for work, so I don't want to hear it. Yeah. All right, so gaming this year. To start off with, it's not been fantastic, but we'll go through some of the stories before we hit the games released so far. And I know there's one in particular that Wombat's going to enjoy getting his teeth into. But obviously, to start off with, we talk about some of the stories in the world of gaming so far. And there's been some real corkers out there. And the first one to talk about is, of course, the Sony price increases on their consoles. Now, they claim this is in part down to AI and the quote-unquote challenging market conditions. Yeah, Peter's laughing already. And this is obviously the laughter of a PC gamer. From April 2nd, they went up by an average of $100, with the PS5 Pro being increased by $150. Honestly, as someone who used to be PS5 but has long since left the platform, I'm so glad that I did. Because given the price of these, I mean, especially the PS5 Pro, these are now luxury items, and I'll be amazed if anyone in my immediate circle that will be getting these.
That would be a large majority of people now because, cost of
Mhm.
living, fuel prices, everything else. So, yeah, no one has any spare cash, especially not spare cash for a console that's a couple of years old now, and is now like over $100 more than when it released.
Yeah.
And has no games. Because that was the other thing that got announced, is that they were sort of going, oh yeah, we're not going to be doing dual release on PC anymore. And I'm like, everyone's like, yeah, we don't care. I'm like, oh yeah, you're going back to trying to have exclusives on PS5 because they've realized that people are going, well, yeah, why are we buying a PS5 when the pricing is getting to the point where it's you can put together a halfway decent gaming PC.
Yeah. And also with the cost of 4K TVs as well. I don't know anyone that said
4K, yeah, but I don't know anyone who owns a 4K TV or whoever has, right? Again, 4K TVs were always a gimmick. Mm-hmm. It was also always Sony trying to do vertical integration, going, oh, well, because guess who makes most 4K TVs? Mm-hmm. Sony, right?
Yeah.
So...
Now that was obviously
and people have also rightly realized it's like, well, the PS5 can't do 60 FPS at 1080p, let alone 4K.
Yeah.
Right.
And then to add things to that, Sony got in the news for all the wrong reasons, because a new form of DRM was added with an update to the console, which was intended to verify purchases from the PlayStation Store, but they didn't tell anyone. And there was some panic and fuss over the whole thing. And it was finally revealed by Sony that the check was not every 30 days, as was reported. It was only once. Still not a good way of handling this, but apparently it was down to an exploit being discovered by those who had jailbroken old PS4s. I mean, silly thing to do, but hey, it's Sony.
Yeah, it's console peasantry. What would you expect?
It's Sony at this point who are just speed running, shooting off every limb as they go, like with every announcement and every change they make.
Yeah. But then it didn't stop there, because in line with the UK Online Safety Act, which, well, we could go all day on that one, age verification was implemented for Sony users, and you couldn't use some features unless you had completed the checks. I'm torn on this one because whilst I don't like the idea of companies like Sony having my personal data for pretty obvious reasons, given their history with it, I do get it from one perspective because kids shouldn't be playing games like Call of Duty when their parents buy them copies. But at the same time, still very mixed on this one. What did you guys think?
And there's the catch: is the parents are buying it for them. So what's the bloody point of the verification if the parents have already bought the damn thing for them?
Yeah.
Again, age verification has always been a Trojan horse. The thing is, like Sony implemented it because they had to. So again, it's not that they were doing it for fun. But yeah, it's for me. I'm like, no, it has always been a Trojan horse for more nefarious things. Like the thing is, they've done it down here in Australia as well for a lot of stuff. And again, you're just getting all the kids just showing each other how to get around it.
Yeah.
You see the memes of people showing up, like holding up. I've seen one where someone holding up a face drawn on their thumb, right, and just doing the rotate left, rotate right. Yep, yeah, that tells yes, it's passed.
Oh my god! I mean, I always remember when obviously not PlayStation at the time, but when I was playing the original Gears of War on the Xbox 360, and you get kids playing it, and myself and other adults be going, "This is an 18-rated game. You shouldn't be playing it." And the kids are like, "So." And I go, well, how did you get a copy of this? My mum bought it for me. Oh, fuck
exactly.
off. Yeah, and I used to hate it with a passion. I remember even coming across one guy who had his bio hate kids on Gears.
Oh, it's also a case of parents keep buying them the bloody things.
Yep.
Every time this has been done, data breaches happen almost immediately. And also, it's like, if you're a fresh-faced looking woman or a guy who's basically got a shaved face and look young, but you're well and truly
baby
way
face.
over the line.
Yes, all those baby face guys. Yeah.
Go, no, you're a child. It's like I've seen one infamous one with one woman's case of, she's like, yeah, I'm 5 foot nothing, but I am nearly a 40-year-old woman.
Yeah.
I went through that and it blocked me because it said that I was underage.
I'm lucky, I guess.
Well, she was livid because she's like, I look my age.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm a little bit baby-faced, but I've got wrinkles. Like the wrinkles have started and whatnot. I am an adult bloody woman, and this thing told me I'm underage.
But then, in the final piece for Sony News, well, wouldn't you know it, they announced more price increases. This time for the online PlayStation Plus. Again, due to ongoing market conditions. Well, what market conditions? Because I don't understand how this affects online stuff, or am I just stupid?
No. Again, it's Sony making an excuse. I mean, come on, they've got to give Bungie more money to piss into the marathon hole, right?
We'll get to that.
Yeah. So no, it's just them going, oh, they're using the excuse of general inflation. And the only real thing you can sort of, even if you want to be charitable, is energy prices.
Yeah.
Because again, AI stuff is just driving up the cost of data centers. Right. So, and Sony would be hosting in the data centers, etc. So, yeah, it's again, this is another indirect cause due to AI stuff. It's just that I would imagine data center space is probably going at a premium these days.
Yeah. So, bad time to be a Sony owner to start the year off. But don't worry. For those wondering how the other consoles did, well, have I got a good one for you? So it wasn't a great year for Nintendo either. And it was reported that they had slashed the Switch 2 production by a third, obviously, as this article shows, due to weak sales, citing disastrous holiday sales. Now, from a personal perspective, I don't know anyone that has a Switch 2. They have all stuck with their original Switches, as they weren't impressed with the small line of new games, and I say new in inverted commas because a lot of them were just ports that came out for it. What about you guys?
Well, same. It's just there was no significant hardware difference between a Switch and Switch 2 in terms of performance. And people are like, well, we've got all the games we want are on Switch 1. There was no there was no market reason to go to Switch 2, especially not at that price point. So, and again, most people are just going, well, they're not getting a Switch 2. They are getting Steam Decks, though. So, yeah, it's just kind of Sony's kind of just sort of lost its luster sort of thing. No real reason to.
Yeah. But of course, if that wasn't enough, I had a bit more news come from Nintendo. And, well, this one made me chuckle because, well, wouldn't you know it, they had a price increase. Literally reported here as going up from the 1st of September by $50. Woo! And the company is expected, they report, to sell 3 million fewer consoles in the next fiscal year. And after this price hike was announced, Nintendo stock fell 8%, 34% overall this year. I'm afraid I have a little sympathy for them.
Yeah, but again, this is AI stuff. It's just all the console people, they all use DDR5 RAM, right? Yeah. So, and that is the big, that's the type of RAM that's in demand for AI stuff. So yeah, they're just running into price increase stuff. And even if the price of RAM comes down, they're not going to bring they might bring their prices down, but I doubt it.
So, like I said, I know nobody that's got one, and I can't see anyone buying one in the future. And it's even interesting to note that when I go past a lot of the second-hand shops in my town centre, there's a lot of Nintendo Switch 2s in there.
Because what exactly is it offering that's any better than the original? Like, significantly better.
Well,
certainly not games.
I mean, the only standout game that is coming out for this that I'm aware of, and I think this is a remake unless I've been told wrong, is the next Star Fox game. Which, don't get me wrong, it does look good, but again, is it a remake?
I don't think so. I think it actually is a game in of itself, but even then, one game.
Yeah, one game.
Yeah, and again, Star Fox stuff, like, okay, Star Fox was interesting back in the day because of the way it did, 3D and
oh, yeah, absolutely.
But these days, I'm just like, not really. Flight games aren't sort of a huge thing these days. So
no,
yeah, and that's the only, if that's the only reason.
And again, it's like you're not off. Like people aren't going to buy something when there's not enough reason to buy it. It's like, but for Star Fox, yeah, that's one game. What else? What else that's not a remake? What's new? What's better? What runs better? Looks better? Does all the things better than the previous one? Practically nothing.
Well, and the other thing is, like I said, cost of living's gone up. People are now getting a lot more what they say quality focused with what their purchases are. It's like, yes, they have limited money to spend on toys, so they are going to be very, very increasingly picky about the toys they buy.
Yeah,
and I will give Steam Deck props. Like, yes, they did delay release and whatnot because of the shortages, and they straight up said that it's delayed because we can't set a decent price and we don't want to overprice things. So they put out notices saying, we're going to wait. We're going to see where this goes, see about our supply, so we can give you a definite price that's suddenly not going to jump up because of other stuff.
But Xbox did get in on the act as well with a piece of news, but it was in the opposite direction to what we've just mentioned. This is probably just a brief mention worthy, but they dropped the price of their Game Pass Ultimate down to $22.99 from $29.99, and a small drop for the PC Game Pass as well. Okay, great, fair play to them, but again, what for? What's worth buying an Xbox for nowadays? Because as we discussed in a previous stream, a lot of their stuff is available on places like PlayStation now.
And also on PC, but even then, it's a case of what new games, again, are coming out on Xbox. There's nothing exclusive, and good games that are coming out in consoles are extremely few and far between these days.
Yeah, so small mentioned there. But again, I don't know. Off the top of my head, I know one guy that's got an Xbox, the latest model. And I don't even know if he plays on it these days. But then, of course, to address what Peter's just talked about, of course, Steam Machine, which, of course, we are still waiting for. It has been delayed, as for reasons Peter's just said. I don't blame them. It still does look an awesome piece of kit, but I give Valve credit for this one because people are worried about the price for this. But again, as two PC gamers who have their own rigs, what do you make of the whole thing?
It's just, it'll be Valve knows their business, right? And it's going to be a case of getting the right, they'll want to get the right price point. And I'm sure when they announced it, the thing is, when you're doing things like this, you kind of have to, like I said, a lot of people fail to realize is that, they're locking in price points many years ahead. Right. So, with the volatility in the market, as they say currently, that it would be hard for them to, be able to do that. So, it didn't help that you had the likes of Sam Altman who were just like, oh, yes, I'm going to buy up all the, the RAM that exists, whether it's just in wafer format or not, so other people can't have it. So, that's it. I think they're waiting for the price of the RAM. And the other thing is also the GPU chips. That's the other thing being affected by the AI bullshit at the moment is GPU chips. So I think Valve's just correctly just sort of waiting for that to stabilize and normalize, hopefully when the bubble pops. And
that's so they can give a standardized, stabilized price.
Yeah.
And not announce one price, then have to turn around shortly after announcement, say, oh shit, we actually had to up it. Oops, because
but the other thing is, I'm sure Valve is looking from the vendors to guaranteed. Hey, we want to guarantee X, say million chips and this much RAM, and I'm sure a lot of the vendors are like, well, we can't guarantee that at the moment because AI bullshit. So a lot, and this is not just console stuff. This has been PC hardware and other stuff in general. I mean, even the industry I work in, we've seen price increases in PCs and all sorts of big, and data center stuff. Everything's being affected by this AI bullshit. That's like, but at least we get some silly cat videos.
Yeah. I want a personal
with Steam, so like they're already kind of ramming up on consoles and that, even with like handhelds with the Steam Deck. I see more often than not when I see people with a handheld, more often than not these days, it is very obviously a Steam Deck.
Yep. And it's a perfect segue into this next bit because from a personal perspective, I did talk about the fact that on the last stream we did this, I wanted a Steam Deck. Well, I've got one now. It is a brilliant piece of kit and it's a lot of fun to play on. I've been razzing some good games on it. I mean, this week I've been playing the original Subnautica, and I'll tell you what, it plays like a joy on the platform. It's probably one of the best buys I've had for a while. And also, I'm glad I got it when I did, because as you'll see here, out of stock, the model that I've got, the 1 terabyte, and also the other two ones are also out of stock. Unsure of when it's going to come back in stock. And also must be noted that the Steam controller, they launched that recently. And you have to reserve it now because apparently upon launch, it's sold out instantly, was restocked, and then sold out instantly again. So Valve are definitely hitting it out the park when it comes to this stuff.
Because once again, proving the point. Make something of quality at a reasonable price and people will drown you in money.
Yeah. The funny thing was the delivery of the Steam Deck. My son was off school at the time, so I said to him it was coming, and I said, you must not miss this delivery. And he literally crashed downstairs by the front door to make sure that he didn't miss it. I got home and it still hadn't arrived. And well, there you go, see Subnautica on it. and it arrived 10 minutes after I got home, and it's a beautiful piece of kit. Comes with a very sturdy carry case and everything. So it's probably one of the best purchases, like I said, I've had for a while now, and I'm so pleased that I've got one.
Again, it is a Valve is a company that's quality focused, right?
Yes. Yep.
So, and when you were quality focused, this is what you get.
Yep. So yeah, anyone that is listening to this and wants to get a decent handheld, don't get a Switch 2. Wait for these things to come back in stock and get one, because it's worth the money. So yeah, so now we go into a couple of the more game related news of the year, and this one, it wound me up when I read about it for reasons we'll get into, and that was, of course, the Anthem servers being shut down and the game basically made unplayable. It's annoyed the hell out of me, because I remember when it came out and how much it cost and the slating it got, because I think, well, actually, I know we talked about this one.
Mm-hmm.
And it is now at a sad end. And I'll tell you what, for a bit of laugh, do you want to go back in time for a small bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So this was the stream back when we first talked about it. This was many, many moons ago, back in
6 years
2019.
ago.
Yeah. And I'm gonna play when we first start talking about it.
Okay.
I apologize.
Don't worry about it. Okay, so we'll go over some of the games that have been released this year so far and talk about their pros, cons, and whatnot. And of course, we can't start with anything except Anthem, which is without a doubt at the moment the strongest contender for biggest shit show of the year. To sum up,
with me now. I
Yeah.
told you so.
yeah.
Come on, stay with me.
Sorry, what?
I'll do this short introduction, then you guys.
No,
can go
we
off on one.
all told it. We all Anthem was going to be a fucking garbage
Yeah, we
fire.
said everyone thought this was going
Yeah.
to be a garbage fire. No one thought this was going to be a good idea.
Essentially a rush production after a trailer that turned out to be completely misleading. And the game was basically a whole lot of nothing and repetition. This was bad. I knew this.
And they actually were actively patching it to make it more repetitious.
Yeah.
Did you guys actually play it though?
No, I went nowhere near it.
I played it. I played the free 10-hour or whatever thing. I got about 2 hours in. I was like, Jesus, this is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
That's like the few people that remain loyal are now bailing on it because they're like, you took away everything that we were holding on to go, this is okay, this is okay, this is fine, this is fine. Oh, no, we're done. I'm done.
Yeah. That was a reach back in time, wasn't it? So,
yes, pick up the phone because we fucking called it.
Yeah. Now, like I said in that stream, I didn't go anywhere near this game because I took one look at it and went, no thanks. Because as I said, there were reports of it bricking PS4s when it came out. The cost of it, because the copies were going for as much as £80 a copy. That's without the season pass. It was a big shit show from start to finish, but I do acknowledge it had its fans, and those folks were still playing the game. And of course, on January 12th, the game servers were shut down, thus making it completely unplayable. But there were scenes being posted on Twitter of those remaining fans making sure they got the last of their trophies and then just sort of standing there and watching the sunset before the servers died. As far as I'm aware, no refunds were possible. So from a consumer perspective, if I had bought this game, I'd be pissed.
And rightly so.
They were warned. This is the thing. Anyone who bought it, everyone's like, we warned you. You'll be sorry.
So it also, I mean, I'll go back to the article for a second because there was one bit in this that I thought was quite fitting. Hurry up, bloody computer, speed up. It doesn't like the heat in this country at the minute. So yeah,
that's adorable.
Yeah. We Brits aren't used to that here. So yeah, so here we go. You got them watching it and just going for one last flight before it crashes. But yeah, it's a shame because one article by listings wasn't this one was that this game did have potential to be something good, and well, EA being EA,
it did.
yeah, it pissed it up the wall. And like I said, I do feel
Because
sorry. Yeah, go on. Sorry, you talk.
It's like, yes, it had potential, but it also was dead on arrival because that potential could never be realized because they lied and showed a trailer for something that had never been discussed, never been decided on, and basically turned around the devs and gone, make that and do it in less than a year.
Yeah.
Where
It's all right, we'll be having-
okay, so where's the wind up planning and all the stuff that usually goes into this for like a year or so before we even hit ground running on, actively developing.
It's all right. We'll be having
Yeah.
exactly the same discussion about Marathon about this time this year.
We'll
The next year or the year after.
I think so, but we'll get to that shortly. But it also segues into what we discussed end of last year around Stop Killing Games, because it's certainly given Ross Scott's cause more ammunition because the guy appeared at the European Parliament and the Protect Our Games Act was launched in California, which he supported and had advised on, which ran along the same lines. But it also states things like the company should stop selling a game if it's going to be shut down 2 months before the fact. And Ubisoft recently have been seen to have bowed to this movement because they implemented a hybrid mode in The Crew 2, which has allowed the game to be played both online and off. So stories like Anthem, I think, like I said, have given this more ammunition. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I think the games as a service bubble has burst as well because
Yep.
again, so much of this was just the whole we want it as a service and we can sell them, microtransactions and cosmetics and everything else. I'm like, yeah, again, now that the economics of the world have changed, and again, people are getting a bit more picky about their sort of spare money. They'll see that money dying off. And now that you've just got a whole heap of market forces that are now working against that thing.
Yeah.
But again, games as a service. Okay, well, if you're going to run it as a service, that a lot of cases they've discovered, running a peer-to-peer service is just useless because it's just inherently hackable.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the stuff they want is, they do the service stuff as partially as a type of DRM solution. Well, if you're going to do that, you're going to have to operate data centers. You're going to have infrastructure in data centers, and that stuff's getting expensive now as well.
Mm-hmm.
So now I think they're going to be moving more back to single games not as a service. Put it that way. Because it's cheaper to run, right? If you're gonna do games as a service, you've got to run the service, and that service is no longer just we can just spin up cheap infra in a data center, and away we go. And like, well, that infra is not cheap anymore.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, a sad end to it. And like I said, I'm not going to mock it because I know people did love this game for what it was. Okay, so on to one which annoyed the shit out of me when I read it. But I don't know if you had any stores over in Australia, for example. But Game closed down all of its standalone stores after going into administration for the second time. Many causes can be attributed to this, apparently, such as the rise of digital downloads, the cost of physical releases, prices offered for trade-ins, some of which were absolute fucking cons, and I can tell that from personal experience. And the fact that games can now be bought from supermarkets and Amazon. Obviously, it all proved too much. Me, like I said, never liked Game because they absorbed Game Station, which was a store I used to buy from regularly when I was console, and the trade-in prices were much better. I feel bad for the people that work there because obviously a lot of them are going to be out of work now, especially in this trying time. But it's strange because I've not seen many people mourn Games passing, and I think that's very telling.
Yeah, it was just kind of it's an artifact of a previous time.
Yeah.
And I imagine the same thing is going to happen. We've got our equivalent down here, and they've sort of disappeared. brain derp. That's the thing. I'm like, I can see them in my head. I just can't think of the name of them at the moment. That sort of thing. It's just like, I can see them. You see them in that country. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, EB Games. You see them out in country towns and sort of suburban, outer suburban malls. But it's like, why? Again, they're mostly full of Funko Pops these days and not so much games.
Yeah, well,
So,
I had to laugh because one time I went into a game store because my kids, when they got their Switch, they asked for a micro SD memory card and they wanted I think it was a 512 gigabytes, which is like the biggest you could get for it at the time. And I said to the guy behind the counter, "Have you got any of these?" And he said, "No, mate, the biggest we've got is 256 gigabytes." I went, "Okay, thanks for your help." And before I leave, he leaned over the counter and said to me quietly, "If I were you, mate, I'd just go to Amazon." And when he said that, I just thought, really?
He's helping. Yeah, it's like he's helping sink his ship faster. Look, again, I'm sure he's trying to be like he's doing the right thing. He's giving you customer service because I'm sure that a lot of people have come in and haven't been able to get what they need, and he's just trying to be helpful.
Yeah, he's doing his job of customer service and simply pointing you to a point where you can get it versus what he can offer. It's like, he's like, I can't fulfill what you need, so I'm going to point you to where it will fulfill what you need.
But in closing on this story, I'll read this tweet, which I come across on Twitter, obviously, regarding the whole thing, from a man called Jay Pearson, who said he was once a manager at a game station. And he writes, I quote, "I was a manager of a game station store when Game owned it, and this happened the first time round. It was heartbreaking to close halfway through the day, knowing we'd all lost our jobs. Then they asked us to pack up all the stock so it could be moved to other stores. So you know what happened to some of that stock, don't you? It was like we'd won supermarket sweep, going wild in the aisles. Well, we didn't get any redundancy money, did we?" Yeah.
Of course not.
No. So again, I do feel bad for them, but as you've just said, they kind of sunk their own ship a little bit with some of the stuff they did. All right. And the final story before we go on to the games being released, and it's a familiar one, and that's, of course, crowdfunded games, because we had another shit show appear on Kickstarter, and that was, of course, Ashes of Creation.
That must be a day ending in Y.
Yep. After raising over $3 million against the goal of 75,000, I think it is. The game was released early on Steam in early access back in January. It was then yanked. The creative director of this and CEO, Stephen Sheriff, resigned from the company, claiming it was because of, and I quote, "actions directed by the studio's board he could not ethically agree with or carry out." Mass layoffs then followed, none of whom received their final paychecks or any other compensation, or even getting their 60-day notice, which is required. The company then permanently closed at the beginning of February, and the game was yanked from Steam, as I said. Yeah, I'd be fucking pissed about this one because so the shit
that came out about where the money actually went.
Yeah. I mean, going through the tiers here, I'll get to the big one that I saw. So you can see how much they're offering. 188 backers for this one, $150. And it keeps going. Some of the tiers they offered, Jesus Christ, $1,000. Have your character immortalized in the game. 58 backers, $2,500.
I'm sorry, when you're chucking that much money at an unknown quantity.
Yeah.
You're kind of asking to get ripped off.
Yeah. $5,000. Have your characters emblazoned with the aura of the Phoenix effect, whatever the hell that is. $10,000, 5 backers. Work with the devs to design one of the world's fortresses. I mean, good luck getting your money back on that.
But again, didn't the CEO like Ashes of Creation? Like, I remember reading there was stuff like money spent on crypto and Pokemon cards or something.
Yeah.
It was just like, it was just a lot of, oh, that's why they went broke.
Mm-hmm.
It was, it was a shit show from the
Yeah.
start. It was a scam from the start.
Absolutely. And for people, like I said last time we discussed one of these, if ever you wonder why I don't back Kickstarters for games, this is why. In fact, from recent experiences with crowdfunders, especially in the comic book world, I am very, very picky as to who I back now, because I just don't trust anyone with this sort of thing, and it's only going to be established names that I'll go anywhere near.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, like, especially if anything's saying, "Oh yes, give us 10K for basically get some for essentially fluff." It's like, "Oh yes, we give you a head pat, and you get to design stuff with us for 10 fucking K."
Yeah.
That should be your biggest flag of stay the fuck away from it, because anything over like a couple of $100 to help support, it's getting into, this is going to be a rort and you're going to get ripped off. So like, guarantee it's going to be a rort and you're going to get ripped off.
Yep. Right. So to discuss some of the games that came out this year, and we've done it, I'm going to do it in order of release. We have to start with one which came out in January for a very brief period, and that was, of course, Highguard. Yep. So
it embodies the go woke, go broke.
Yeah. A live service free-to-play game that had its player base drop off massively by 80% within the first 24 hours of release. Most of the development team were laid off 3 weeks after the game's release, leaving a skeleton crew to maintain it. It eventually shut down 45 days after launch. Oh, shit.
And this is what you get when you basically listen to your own little hug box and don't actually test with real, actual gamers.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like the art style, but a free-to-play game, and it was absolutely loaded with microtransactions. I'd like to think a lot of the general public have gotten savvy with this and gone, yeah, no thanks.
That, plus, as soon as people tried to play it, it drove them up the wall within minutes of the gameplay. It's like people are willing to go, oh, well, new gameplay, I'm willing to put in the effort, try it, figure it out, whatnot. But if you've got players only an hour or two in going, okay, I'm getting really irritated, and combination of irritated and bored, did you even check anything with anyone before you put this thing out? Or even really got set on how you were doing this, because it turned out to be a case of everything running too long.
Yep.
And then you can have everything flipped on its ear in a second. So you've basically spent, say, half an hour like securing everything, doing all this stuff. Then you got to do another half hour of this other stuff, and then you get reset back to zero from one person screwing up or the other team just coming in and trouncing you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's potentially an up to an hour of work of trying to secure everything, and then it's no.
Yeah. Not
to mention a lot of people were really bothered by the context switching.
Yep.
From the different types of play you're doing, whereas normally this sort of stuff, it's a case of, okay, it's capture the flag, it's eliminate the other team, it's something clear from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
But this was trying to do multiple things at once, and everyone's just like, okay, it's context switching too much while expecting us to be go, 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 go. You can't stop and think. And yeah, it's like only really, really, really hardcore people stuck at it. Anyone new would basically spend a few hours playing and going, I really don't like this, I'm out.
So yeah, that was the year's first casualty. And then we got one that came out, a re-release, and that was, I'm going to talk about them together, the Dino Crisis games on Steam. So why am I mentioning these? Because they launched with an unnecessary DRM, as seen here, the Enigma Protector. No Steam achievements either. So it's incompatible with the Steam Deck at the moment, which is what wound me up. Where is it? Trying to find it now. Yeah, whatever. I'll look at it later. But yeah, incompatible with Steam Deck. There you go. Unsupported. And it's just people going, well, why do games like this need DRM? They're classics as it is. You don't need it. So it was a very strange and pointless thing to do for an old release.
Yeah, and it's not like there's multiplayer involved in either. It's a single player, incredibly old game.
Yep.
What's the bloody point? If anyone wanted to pirate it, they've already done it decades ago.
So yeah, that made me wonder. I mean, I have seen videos on YouTube that have shown how to play this game if you do some tinkering, but I just can't be fucked to go around it. So I'll wait for them to do something about it.
It's Capcom. They're not going to.
Well, one can hope. But then we've got the latest Resident Evil Requiem, come out. Switching between two characters, different play styles. It was well received by fans and became the fastest selling Resident Evil game. 5 million copies in 5 days and then 7 million copies within 2 months. Single player, as far as I'm aware, with no online, I don't believe. Well played. I love seeing stuff like this, and especially for the Leon segment where he is an absolute badass, which is right. I don't know if are you guys Resi fans?
Resi fan back in the day, but again, I'm just like, a lot of this is nostalgia bait, so I'm just like, not a nostalgia bait type person. The thing is, I'm sure that a lot of the sales were ladies buying it for Leon.
Yeah.
There's again, the devs worked with the women in their studio. It's like, what are you into, ladies? And yeah, I said I remember seeing a lot of streamers and a lot of VTubers just going, Daddy Leon.
Yeah, like bulky silver fox.
But
I also find it so bloody funny.
Yeah.
And the hypocrisy of the whole, oh, yes, we can drool over Daddy Leon, sexy silver fox.
Yeah.
Oh, you like a chick who is remotely pretty? Oh, porn brain, gooner.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like, we all know what you're doing, ladies.
Mm-hmm.
We all know what you're writing about and what you're doing, and all those pictures you've got of Leon and what you're doing, and while you're playing the game only single-handed.
So Leon doesn't do it for you then, no?
No.
It
But
has me.
yeah, right. Okay. So yeah, I mean, as a Resi fan myself, this is on my list to buy, but I've got to clear some games first because I've got so many fucking games on my deck that I need to. Well, I just need to complete some of them.
And also to add to that, with the previous Resident Evil game, and people figured out who was making the porn mods for that, particularly aimed at Leon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was majority women when they bothered to look into who's making these mods that are basically making him borderline naked or straight up naked and with everything out and about. It was women.
That doesn't surprise me for some reason.
I was just like, you have some fucking hypocrites.
Yeah.
Tenma the VTuber, I'm looking at you.
All right. So on to the next one, and I know we're going to have some fun with this. Marathon. All right. So, yeah, another online-only multiplayer game. And obviously we did mention this last year because of the art theft regarding the artist, name escapes me now, that she was paid for her art and the matter settled, she reported. But the game did not meet sales expectations, only selling around 1.2 million copies. This then later resulted in Sony announcing a 765 million impairment loss after they'd paid 3.6 billion for Bungie. Not good.
Oh, that's going to look like small potato compared to when this little saga is done, because it was announced this week that they're shutting down Destiny 2.
Yeah.
That whole heap of extra
they're not
stuff
shutting
planned.
it down. No, they're not shutting it down. They're just cutting off any further development.
Yeah, they're sunsetting it, right? They're like, yep, Destiny 2, you're getting sunsetted, and all that money is being pissed into the Marathon black hole.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Sony, you think, clearly Sony needs some tax write-offs, so they're just hyping up the losses.
Yeah.
Again, Marathon doesn't have a user, like, though it was something no one wanted. Like, what? Not to mention that bloody horrible color style they use. It's just,
I'm not keen on
I
it.
vomit.
Well, to be fair, it is going off what the original Marathon looked like way back when.
Yeah.
It was that garish neons and whatnot to distinguish itself from things like Doom and that, because it was that kind of like Doom and System Shock.
Unsupported on Steam
It was
Deck, by the
distinguished
way.
itself. And so the color scheme makes sense, and people who I've watched recently, some people who have played it and gone, the color scheme works in context as everything else. What doesn't work is the learning curve, and that once you learn, you can trounce any new person that comes in over and over and over again and drive them out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a case of, it's just once you learn, it's got a hard learning curve. You get settled. Any new player, they just get screwed over because everyone else is just like anyone who's been there playing just long enough to get the system down, get all the good stuff, can trounce them over and over and drive them out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got no like guys, you fucking made Destiny. The whole thing with the PvP and that Destiny was balanced, that someone could be geared up to the eyeballs, yet you could still go up against someone who was still relatively noobish and not insta trounce them.
I know exactly why they're doing that. It'll be pay to win. It's like, oh, you want to, it'll be you'll have that established group, and then you'll just have the ability to buy lower tier. If you're a low tier player, you'll have the ability to essentially buy cap shop mods, etc.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at this trailer that you're playing now, and just no. The other thing that bothers me is just like, the devs working on like again, they're gonna want to change that because it's just like, the faces bother me in multiple levels.
Yeah, it's like they've taken the original aesthetic that they were going for from the original game and they've just made it uglified, because initially the original game was kind of praised and also pushed on the whole, it's blaringly colorful and whatnot, but it's also kind of ugly.
Yeah, I mean,
but that was what they were working with back then too, and in those days, because I think it was Bungie's first game, like proper game, was Marathon, and thusly they did that to purposely be as distinct as possible from the likes of System Shock and Doom and whatnot, because they're running on same engine type thing.
Yeah, well, the game has been bleeding players.
Yeah, and technically speaking, you don't play as a person; you literally play as what they call a bioroid, which is. It's your mind put into a body that's just basically sent out to do these jobs, and if it fails, then whoop-de-doo, spin up another one.
Yeah. But the game has been bleeding players, and Sony has pledged to introduce new content and fixes to try and hold on to those who remain, as well as attracting new players. But, well, good luck with that, guys. I think you're going to need it.
Yeah, it's like, unless you fix, even if they fix the gameplay problems, the aesthetic is just unappealing to majority of people.
Yeah. And one we're going to have a laugh with. Slay the Spire 2. Now, the game exceeded 3 million copies sold and reached 177,000 players on Steam. But, well, why are we mentioning this? Well, dear viewer, it was noticed after people had watched the credits of the game that Anita Sarkeesian was spotted in the credits as a consultant. And, well, if you don't know who she is by now, where have you been? So I love this article here. Instead, people realised that Anita Sarkeesian, media critic and video game consultant, appears in the credits. This was never a great secret. Her name's always been there. Blah, 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 blah. Now they've noticed she contributed to the game. They're spamming negative reviews.
Everyone's like, oh shit, there's a cat turd in the sandwich. Ew, 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 ew.
Yeah.
And also people doing mass returns as well.
Yes, there has. I love these quotes. I got hyped. They released an early access of it, version of it. I wanted to support them. Now I understand with the Anita Sarkeesian. I don't support the toxic work. I don't support people who publicly test video games and those who play them. Yeah. And I do like the fact that the lady who wrote this wrote here, while you can absolutely find fault with her critique, some of her fellow feminists do, in fact, much of the pushback came from those saw any feminist in that game as an attack on the gaming community. Well, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, at this point, if you're a company that actively works with her, she's a known quantity. The effect she has on your audience is a known quantity. So, yeah, if you willingly engage with her, then no, I have no sympathy.
Yep.
right? And like, no, that's the thing. I'm like, she's shown no change of behavior. Like, if she'd Mea culpa'd and just like, okay, yeah, but even then I wouldn't believe it because she's a lying, narcissistic piece of crap.
Yeah.
But no, any company that willingly works with her deserves the punishment. It's the only way they're going to learn. It's like, nope, yeah, we're just going to have to, how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? Level of beating, and just go, it's no. She's Persona, like, don't work with her.
Yeah.
Because it'll just destroy your product, destroy your studio.
Yeah, of
Not
course.
to mention, like, she has nothing of worth to add as any form of consultant. She's herself really admits she hates games. She doesn't play games. She is not a gamer. So she's got nothing to contribute.
Mm-hmm. Now, of course, as Peter's mentioned, refund requests were flooded. And, of course, the gaming press, never one to miss an opportunity, blame the whole thing on, and I quote, the chuds, and invoked Gamergate. Yep, and invoked Gamergate constantly, almost as if they yearn for it to come back. I wonder. But yeah,
because they can't. Chud's their new favorite thing because they can't use Gamergate and Goobergate anymore.
No, because people see through them now, and I take some pleasure in that.
Oh, people have seen through them for years now, but they've finally reached that tip point where normies are very aware of them now and just going, "Oh, you, useless twats."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a reason all your gaming websites are going tits up and being sold in fire sales.
Mm-hmm. And on to the next one. I know this was one of Peter's favourites for the year. 1348 ex voto. That laugh tells its own story. The game where you play as a 90-pound lesbian with a bowl cut, fighting and killing men twice her size. After cramming the message into the game like it was in response to comments of the developer from the approaching Knight's Path, which is not out yet, it reached an all-time peak of 167 people on Steam alone. Woohoo!
Yes. Everybody needs good lesbians.
And do you know what is the absolute icing on the cake of this game?
Go on.
People have figured out the storyline. In this case, the whole way through, she's basically like tracking down and fighting her to get her lover back, who's been quote unquote kidnapped. Turned out the bitch arranged it herself, and she was just basically putting herself in position of power to become the next queen. She organized the whole thing the whole way through. She was basically putting
hang on. Well, to be fair, that is horrible manipulation and backstabbing. I mean, that's an accurate portrayal of a lesbian relationship, is it not?
So she's made her go through all this shit, have to kill all these men, go through all this suffering for her to turn around and say, "Oh, you've proven yourself worthy of me again. Come stand by my side, my lover." Well, I'm also being the absolute monster that you've been railing against this entire fucking time.
This is the character in question, by the way.
Yes.
The
tiny few people who played it through realize. So you're telling me that I've gone through all this work for this supposed lover to get her back and rescue her, whatnot, damsel in distress, and to turn around her to be the absolute, the monster we've been going against the entire time. The monster who's been sending all these men to their deaths against you this entire time. The monster that's basically trying to do a regime change for the worse this entire time.
I like this bit here. The characters feel like cardboard cutouts and learn almost nothing. Yeah. Unlucky. But again, another game which deserved its fate by the looks of it. So,
and it's just like, in what fucking world would people think that you're going to basically go through that story and going, yes, this is a great story. This is yes.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I just love you running out of words to discuss
something else that you wrote and then try to turn into a game story and think that that's a good story and that's a good twist.
Yeah. All right, so next one to discuss is a port, which we don't tend to cover normally, but this one deserves its own mention because, Starfield was ported to the PS5, a game released 3 years ago, and it really didn't stick its landing, to be frank, suffering from performance and stability issues, stutters during the opening sequence, save glitches and reported crashes, with one being reported 6 minutes into the tutorial. The PSN store was hit with refund requests as a result, some of which they actually approved because they don't tend to do that. And it was later revealed that the game only shifted 140,000 copies on the PS5. Not good.
Well,
Good. They
Starfield
basically
was kind of shit anyway. So it's
Yes,
like,
it was.
Yeah. And clearly they've only imported the initial iteration, not the patched and fixed iteration, but even then, patched and
Yeah.
fixed is a bit of a misnomer because it's still got issues.
Mm-hmm. So this is one that I'm glad I skipped back when I had my PS5. Well, no, I'm glad I wasn't interested in, I should say. But Bethesda stuff I tend to stay away from anyway, because unlike what that chap says, it doesn't just work anymore.
It hasn't just worked for a while.
Mm-hmm. I love this from here. Classic Bethesda. Yeah, they're known now.
Yeah, that's why I've got no confidence whatsoever for, was it Elder Scrolls 7 and Fallout 5.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to that because we're going to cover them on here, and I will have to remember you saying that because I think you probably just made another called it moment.
If they ever actually see the light of day, considering they've only just recently started active, proper, boots to the ground, stop this fluffing development on fucking Elder Scrolls 7.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been how long since Elder Scrolls 6?
Oh, I don't know. How long has it been? Because I've never paid attention.
Well, it was released. It's like, let's have a look. It's like, I'm pretty sure it was 2011.
Keys tapping in the background there.
Okay, where are we? Yes, it was November the 11th, 2011.
Wow, that's a long time ago.
mhm.
And they're only freely admitting now. People going, okay, so what's happening? You're constantly giving these fluff things and not really anything much to show. And they're going, oh, yes, we're finally in development. Like, finally?
Yeah.
We mean
Now?
finally. What? Yeah.
What do you mean finally? Not to
I've
mention,
been writing,
it's like,
we've been writing patches. The whole rest. What have you doing the rest of the time? Writing patches for Fallout 76.
yeah, not to mention Skyrim grandma, Shirley Curry. They basically did a whole thing for her several years ago of scanning her to basically have her as her own NPC that she'd voice and whatnot for Elder Scrolls 7. She's gone now.
Yeah.
It's been so freaking long. She's gone.
So to move on to two positive releases this year, and I love both of these, but we'll go through one each one individually, of course. First one is Mouse PI for Hire. This is probably one of the most unique looking games that's been released in a while, very much in the vein of the original Doom. It's even got the bit in it where when you've killed an enemy and it's on the ground, if you move around it, the corpse rotates on the ground with you, which I find quite funny. Great FPS, and also got some open world RPG mixed into it. The voice acting alone is also fantastic, especially with Troy Baker as the main character, Jack Pepper. Like I said, I love this. I mean, have you guys seen much of this game?
Yeah. My only complaint is that the only complaint that I've heard voiced about it is the fact that the combat mechanic gets a bit samey after a while. The game goes on, again, it's quite a long game, but again, you're essentially fighting the same group of enemies. Some have got reskins. But other than that, that's the only thing. I'm like, for what it was for a small studio, look, great. It's for them, it looks like a fantastic thing. I hope, I'm looking forward to what they do next as well. But it's nice to see them using that art style, that old school cartoon art style. Like I said, we saw the same thing in Cuphead, and people really like it because it's something new and interesting.
Yeah, I mean the boss fights, they are tricky. I will give them their dues for that. But it's been revealed that the game did sell over 730,000 copies worldwide, and fair play to them for that. But of course, not everyone enjoyed it because, well, wouldn't you know it, one of the companies to slate it was IGN.
like everyone
And-
gives a fuck what
yeah.
they've got to say.
IGN was too busy glazing. Was it mixtape?
Well, we're
Yep.
getting to that, I promise. But as you can see, they gave it a 6 out of 10 for being okay. Mouse
They do
PI
that
for
with
hire.
ev-
Yeah, I know. It's amusing enough FPS. You just want to blast some cartoon mice and not think too hard about it. But its haphazard marriage of noir storytelling and boomer shooter action are at odds in uncomfortable ways that weaken both aspects. Fuck off.
Wank, 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 wank.
Yeah.
They do this with everyone who doesn't pay them off
Yeah. It's,
or wank them off, as it is.
Yeah.
Mixtape seems to have done both.
Well, again, we're getting to that. But as I said, I love this game, and it plays wonderfully on Steam Deck. But I have to give props to whoever runs the Twitter account for Mouse PI. They do a brilliant job, and this one example I've got is this one here, where they give a little laugh to the whole Resident Evil comparisons that this chap made here. And I saw this, and after I bought the game, I commented, "Your game is awesome." Didn't think much of it, but then whoever wrote this tweet replied, "You're awesome." And I got to say, I thought, "Oh, fucking hell, brilliant!"
And this can segue us into a point of when you hire someone who's PR, or at least someone in your dev team who's got their head on straight and's got their ego in check,
Yeah.
versus a dev team who doesn't have a PR person, nor do they have their ego in check.
Yeah, so I was actually quite blown away by it. Yeah, thanks very much, Day. You made me chuckle that day. If you ever see this, so yeah, props to them. But we'll come back to them shortly for another reason, because the next one to discuss, and well, if you hadn't heard this one, I don't know what to tell you, and that's of course Pragmata. New story, because I don't like saying IP. I don't like that term. From Capcom, made with the RE engine. This game went down like a storm. Did you guys see much of this initial coverage?
Kind of couldn't miss it.
Yeah, it's cute for what it was.
Yeah. Now, obviously, it's a bit new because not only have you got the combat, but you've also got the hacking mechanic that goes along with it. And I've seen some people complain about it. It doesn't bother me. In fact, it makes the game a little bit more challenging because you've got to hack while you're in the middle of combat and moving around. And I thought it was going to be tough, but I like it. It's new and it's refreshing.
It was funny seeing the amount of girls that were just one-shotted in the ovaries, just going, "I want to have my own child."
Yeah.
Oh, and all the guys as well.
Yeah, I mean,
It's just like, I don't want kids. I don't want kids. I need me a wife.
Yeah, it's from a personal perspective. I have 2 daughters, and this brought back memories of me when I used to carry them on my shoulders, and sometimes on back when we were out and about. It brought back one memory of my now eldest daughter. She was on my shoulders. We were in town, and I suddenly realised she was a bit heavier than usual. And I was like, "Are you awake? Hello?" And no response. And I had to look into my reflection in the window to see she'd fallen asleep on my shoulder. And I was like, "Oh shit, what am I supposed to do now?" Because if I picked her off, she'd just scream blue murder. But in the end, she was getting heavy and my shoulders were aching, so I had to do it. And she weren't impressed, but well, I always think back to memories of that when I see the footage of Diana being carried around. Because also I should give props to the voice acting on this. It's fantastic. And this resulted in one gamer, let's see if I can find it, who here it is. So one Pragmata fan had lost his daughter to an illness when she was much younger. Let's see if the picture's in this article. I think this is it here, because there you are. That's the here, and he talked about how the game literally gave him more time with her in some sense. And obviously the account saw this and offered their love and support to this guy. I like seeing stuff like that because obviously very, very touching. But it just goes to show that sometimes a game is more than that for some people.
Yeah, like once again, another company that's actually got a hired PR person to control their social media because there's one particular company right now who's getting their shit kicked in, who, even as indies, couldn't keep their egos in check, or at least basically fork out a bit of money to get a PR person for their social media.
Who's that?
Subnautica 2.
Because of Subnautica
right,
2.
yeah.
They're
We'll
basically,
we'll get
bullying
to
their
that.
fans.
And obviously, going back to the Mouse PI social media account, when it was revealed that Pragmata had sold bucket loads of copies, it sold 2 million copies within the first 16 days of release. They shared this tweet congratulating them. Obviously, as you can see here, the main characters are the mouse versions. I thought, yeah, I like seeing that because I don't know, it's just nice. Given some of the crap on social media.
It's not, it be the change you want to see in the world, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, again, it's studios congratulating each other and just there's a bit of competition, but again, at least if it's friendly, healthy competition, then everyone's fine, right?
Yeah. And I love this artwork, by the way.
Oh yeah, I do too.
Yeah. So those were two of the better releases this year. And well, there's one we have to talk about because you can't not talk about this one. Mixtape. Yeah.
Oh, the Nepo baby, again.
Yeah.
Oh, I am angry. I am angry.
Yeah. So I'll go through part of this, and then Wombat can go off on one like a frog in a sock that I know he wants to. Oh wow. Nah, fuck it. Wombat, go for it.
I can't believe my goddamn tax dollars went to supporting a project for the daughter of Larry fucking Ellison, the richest guy in the world. Jesus Christ. It's just like, this is just like, you can tell it was, Ellison buying success for his little girl because he's clearly paid off everyone and anyone to absolutely glaze this shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
IGN did give it a 10 out of 10.
Everyone goddamn did. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And I'm seeing a bunch of VTubers play it as well. I can see that there were some that were clearly forced to. The fact that you had, I love the 10-minute clip. Just you get to a point where you got one of the characters going, I'm going to burn everything down, blah, 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 do what I want. And she just pauses it and goes, this is what happens when you don't beat your children enough.
Well, I've got a clip here for you because obviously one of the streamers played this game, and I'll play the clip now because this one's one of the funnier ones I've seen.
Where's the gameplay? I'm not doing anything. Hands free, by the way. Hands free, by the way. The game plays itself. Hands free. There's no game here. Hands free. You don't even have to play it. Oh my God. You don't even have to play it. Don't even have to play it. Wow.
Now, does that not excite you?
My tax dollars at work. 90 goddamn grand of my tax dollars going to that shite.
Okay, so I have to push back on this. How do you know that? Has this been openly
This
documented?
has been, yes, it has publicly documented and confirmed via Screen Victoria. Because people have, again, it's now there's a bit of a ruckus down here. People going, hang on, how the hell did Larry Ellison's daughter get a 90 grand grant from the Australian, the Victorian Screen Commission, right?
For a studio she's supporting.
Yes.
Like, that's not independent when she's there backing them with everything and basically helping them to get this grant because they tried to go to the banks. The banks turned around and gone, hang on, we can see that she's attached to this as a supporter. So you're not independent. So no, we are not going to approve any loans towards you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So there is an active investigation going on how did they get money? Right. Again, God damn it, Larry Ellison literally just bought a media empire because he gave his son the money to buy a media empire.
Yeah.
Not to
Right.
mention, this game has music, old music, yes, but old music that they can have in perpetuity.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Not
perpetuity
even
licenses are not
GTA
cheap.
games could get stuff for the radios in perpetuity. So
Mm.
every time there's like they have to do patches every now and again because they've lost the license and they have to replace them.
Mm. Now
And
the
this is meant
IG,
to be a fucking indie game.
the
For
IGN,
for the audience, just so you've got some context,
yeah,
to buy a perpetual license for music playing is anywhere from $50,000 to $500,000 per
Fucking
song.
yeah. So the IGN 10 out of 10 score, it stated the game sets a new standard for coming of age stories in video games and does so with a masterful sense of style.
God
Oh,
damn it!
shit.
I am
Holy
surprised again
fuck.
that I ran that through a translator and all I hear is for them just fucking filleting Ellisons.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like give us more money, Daddy Ellison. Please buy up our media empire too. We need money, please. We need money.
Yeah. So obviously, gamers question these scores en masse, citing the limited gameplay that you've just seen, the storytelling, reliance
There
on
is
90s.
What gameplay? Like
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
you've had people just go, look, I can run this thing end to end and not touch the fucking controller at once. There is no gameplay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's clearly made for games journalists in mind. There's no fail condition.
Yeah.
Because they're too busy under the desk going gluck, gluck, gluck.
Yeah. There are even claims by gamers that the game was a plant in the industry by Megan Ellison, and that the critic reviews were part of a mass astroturfing campaign to elevate its status.
Holy shit! I've seen the other headlines that went along with that, was something
Yeah.
along the lines of bears defecate in forested areas and Pope's religious status confirmed.
But here's the best part, though, and I found this out. One of the people that wrote about this for the Aftermath website was Nathan Grayson. And he attributed...
Well, if anyone knows about blowing people under the desk, it's
Yeah.
Nathan. I mean, he gets to watch his wife do it all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, the other one that came out was the one behind that bloody Cuphead review where he couldn't even pass the tutorial.
I remember
Well, here
that.
you go, bro. Here's a game you can play. There's no fail condition.
Yeah.
God damn it.
But here's the best part. Grayson attributed the complaints to a second wave of, wait for it, Gamergate harassment.
And there it is.
Oh, there it is. It's
Fuck
like,
you.
the boogeyman is back. No. Everyone just hates you.
Yeah. So two more to discuss. And this next one, well, we don't tend to talk about racing games very often because none of us here play them. But this one caught my attention because, well, Forza 6 came out. And, well, why am I talking about this? Well, because it launched with a £110 premium edition. And part of that, well, it's different now, as you can see here. But buying this allowed you guys to play the game 4 days early.
Of course.
Yeah. And it also launched with a day one DLC in the form of a treasure map that showed you where to find all the bonus boards, barn finds, regional mascots, treasure chests, and treasure cards.
I just looked it up and on Steam, $10 dues.
Yeah.
Buy a Forza 6 Premium Edition, $189.95.
Fucking hell.
Get royally fucked.
Yeah. Now,
There's also the censorship that you can't put anything problematic as a number plate either.
no.
It's even just buying the base game.
Yeah.
110 fucking dollars.
Yeah. Now, amusingly, 9 days before the game's release, the game's Steam files were left accidentally unencrypted. Unencrypted, sorry. The files were cracked by pirates and uploaded to the file sharing websites, which I thought was, oh dear, that's very stupid. However, in spite of all this, the game has logged 6 million active players. So it shows that people will still buy this stuff. So it will still keep happening.
Because people with FOMO, plus people with obsession, the whole I'm a fan of this thing, so I have to have every single iteration, despite the fact that they are literally ripping me off.
Yep. So yeah, a brief mention, but only because of that. So the final game to talk about before we have our last little debate, and it's already been mentioned, is of course Subnautica 2. Now, it's been launched on Steam in early access after some legal drama that saw several of the studio's top brass removed.
I'm sorry, just you showing me that trailer turned me off that game. I'm just seeing that. I don't know what the gaming equivalent is, but it's the gaming equivalent of CalArts. I'm just seeing that art style. I'm just like,
this one here.
A trailer, yep. The gaming equivalent of CalArts.
Well, it's the evolution of the previous art style, but
yeah. But then obviously, like I said, some of the top brass of the studio were removed, and then the reinstatement of some. This game, it's gone down very well. Within the first hour of launch, 1 million copies were sold, a price much more reasonable than the previous game we discussed. It's going to be in early access for a good while by the looks of it, but it's gone down, like I said, a storm. I mean, my youngest son's playing this and he absolutely loves it. Him and his, because it's co-op as well, and him and his friends, they've reached a lot of the, I think they have reached the limit of what's out so far, but again, it's gone down a storm. And I appreciate you don't like the art style, but it's entertained a lot of people. So I'm going to call this one a positive.
That's fun.
Yeah,
but the other thing that's coming up is again the interaction of the developers.
Yeah,
with the community.
Can you go into some detail on Sweetie, because I don't know.
Well, essentially the developer. There's a lot of the community coming back, going, "Well, hang on, why are some things unkillable?" They're really railroading players a lot, and when the players have brought up this criticism, and again, even if they brought it up in a respectful way, you just got the developers shitting on them, just going, "Well, we're sorry you feel that way."
Oh, essentially, if you want to go murder hobo, go play Sons of the Forest 2.
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean,
basically doing the equivalent of, if you don't like it, don't play it, and people just going, okay.
And they've tripled down on it by basically doing a complete non-apology and like, oh, we're sorry you're so basically mad about our responses. We're so sorry that you want to murder everything in sight and we won't let you.
I mean, I played the original Subnautica a number of times now, and you can't really kill anything in that either. But I personally, that doesn't bother me, because it's more of a oh shit moment whenever you see one of these big beasties and you can't kill them, so you've just got to avoid them, especially with the Reapers.
Yeah, so, that's fine with the really big stuff. But the complaints I'm seeing from people is, I've got things that are still on the smaller scale that are beating the living shit out of me when I'm trying to get quest stuff done and constantly hammering me, and the gun you've given me to deter them takes a while to charge up.
Yeah.
And if I miss my shot, then...
Yeah, I get that.
Like, can you make it so it's a bit more... Like, people are going, it's like, yeah, that's okay. It's like, can you basically give me an option that's a little bit more timely so I can, like, tell these things to bugger off, get my stuff done, and then scoot as fast as I can before they come charging in to get me again?
So it's gone down well, like I said, and you see the reviews very positive. So again, single player predominantly, but co-op has gone down the storm, as I said. But I'd call this a positive to end the first sort of stream with, because, well, we'll see what happens with it. But obviously, the developer response not great.
No, and they're refusing to pull their heads in or just reasonably speak with players and better explain themselves and what they're doing.
Yeah.
Instead, they're basically... It's what I've been saying about they really need a PR person, because the devs themselves they're taking every single thing that people are bringing up, like minor criticisms or suggestions, as massive criticisms and massive blows to their egos, thus they're reacting snarkily and nastily. Like, guys, you're game devs. Pull your heads in. And if people are saying, like, rightly ignore people who are being dick munchers and just being assholes to you, but just address people, like, plainly, not normally with criticisms or with questions, versus just immediately going to snark and just not even answering them or basically shitting on them for even daring to ask such things. It's really putting people off, and people are already saying, like, yep, I've already basically deleted the early access, and I'm not buying the game because I'm not going to give money to people who will speak down to me like that.
Mm.
And won't even give me a reasonable, well, this is how we want to play the game. If it's not for you, that's okay.
Mm.
Instead, they're going, oh, like I said, they're going, well, if you want to murder everything, so go play Sons of the Forest 2.
Yeah, not a great way to handle it.
No. And even some people just like, is there a better option for like giving things a knock to make them go away? Like more on point to make them go away a bit so I can get stuff done and not just get murked every time I try?
Mm. So a brief sort of debate to finish with this stream then, and obviously that's regarding the decline of live service games. We've had multiple flops as discussed with Highguard and Marathon going down the pan. It looks like there are companies that are pulling back from it now. I mean, it's reported last week that Sega had backed off a quote-unquote super game it had been developing that was supposed to be a big online game. Sony has reportedly cancelled a load of them last year alone, one being a God of War live service game and another being a Last of Us live service. I'd love to have seen how they went down. However, others are still coming, such as Fair Games and a Horizon live service game. I mean, have you guys ever played live service games, or do you just stick with the regular stuff?
No.
Does World of Warcraft count? Because that was
I don't know,
the thing
does
is, well, again, World of Warcraft was a subscription live game. It was the OG of them.
Yeah.
This is the thing. If done properly, like an MMO and the rest of it, and people will pay a subscription to play a game, but
yeah,
these live service games have been milking people dry, and they were kind of a product of their time. In the back when people had money, they figured out, hey, we can nickel and dime them and get lots and lots of money out of the player base. Well, again, now that we've seen a number of market factors, one, the cost of data centers, two, that the economics now, people don't have spare money for this sort of stuff. I'm sure that these companies are doing the maths and going, it's just not worth it anymore.
No.
Well, it's also all of them were trying to basically do what all the MMO WoW killers tried to do, which is we're going to be the Fortnite killer, and like, no, you're not.
No.
And every time you just like all the supposed WoW killers, every time you go in with that attitude, it's a guaranteed fail right away.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not going in with the whole, let's make something that's different that'll basically drag our own attentions away, like basically drag our own, like say, look at us, we've got our own gameplay, our own games. Like, do you want to come over here too? You can still have your Fortnite, but we're something different, just as good for something, and so you can have us and Fortnite too. Mm-hmm. Instead of they're going, no, we have to outdo Fortnite, we have to blow them out of the water, we have to be everything, and thusly instantaneously it's like you're guaranteed to fail, just like all the WoW killers.
Mm-hmm. You
can't, you didn't go along the basis of let's offer something different so we can both exist in the same space. Yeah.
It's also,
and even then with what they're offering is like all of them is a case of you're all clones of each other.
Yeah.
And every single time you've got ugly art style, very badly managed gameplay, just like all the supposed WoW killers, and you're not offering anything worth anyone's time. You're right off the bat, you're going, give money, give money, give money.
Yeah.
Even worse, the ones that were the ones that weren't even free to play, they were like you had to fork out $60 just to buy the base game, and then they're going, give money, give money, give money, give money.
Well, you've mentioned one phrase there that I don't like, and that's base game. I mean, it's like they're saying, well, you only pay this much, you only get this, but if you pay this much, you get this. As soon as I see base game, I automatically sort of go on I don't know about this now.
That's what I mean. It's one thing is being free and doing that. It's another thing where it's a case of give us $60 for the base game, and then keep paying us even more after the fact to get all the other stuff.
Yeah.
And they've also skewed it now that you can't even work to earn. Like, put in the hours in the game, you can earn all the shiny things.
Mm-hmm.
They've made it now, it's a case of you can put 10 hours into this game, working your butt off, and you still can't earn enough to get the shinies. Or they purposely rig it so that your chances of getting said shinies are rigged in a way that's a case of, I don't know, if you work for it, well, your chances of getting that one particular or those particular shinies you're really interested in is maybe 5%. But if you pay for it,
that's being generous. Yeah, that's being generous.
Yeah, that's like 2%. But if you pay for it, that might go up to 40%.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny because Amazon was getting into this, but they've apparently cancelled loads of them. There were two I haven't made aware of. One called New World, which sounds not very terribly imaginative. But then you've also got one called King of Meat. I mean, I'd love to have known what that was about. See, the woman laughs first. I know what you're thinking. And then the Amazon Studios boss, who I think apparently was in charge of this, he left the company last month. But obviously, as we talked about earlier, Wombat predominantly mentioned this, because obviously times are very, very tight right now. People are being very choosy about what they spend their money on, because obviously, as we've discussed, Resident Evil Requiem, Mouse PI, Pragmata, and Subnautica 2, despite your views on it, have all been successful, and it shows where people are spending their money.
I mean, again, in a lot of cases, it's like, hey, we're seeing new and interesting. So it's people want the new stuff.
Yeah. And with Mouse PI, to go back to that a second, we just mentioned base game. I took a chance and I bought the digital deluxe edition, which I don't tend to do very often, but one of the things it's promised was the future DLC for it, and given the sort of open world style part of it, I was more than happy to invest in that, and it saved me just shy of £10 doing it, which again I'm happy to have spent the money on, because I love this game.
And look at that price point versus fucking Forza.
Yeah, exactly. So stuff like this comes out, I'll be happy to invest in it. And again, going back to Subnautica, as we've mentioned, to buy it as it is only $25.99, and if there are major bugs in it, I've yet to hear of them.
No, again, it from a technical perspective, it's been fine. Like, again, people haven't complained of crashes or any of that sort of stuff. So yeah, technically it's good. Said my only criticism, it's my one, is just the combat gets a bit samey.
Yeah.
Right?
So I'd like to think better times are ahead, but at the minute I'm just having a hard time seeing it with all of what's going on.
It's just a matter of, like, everything else. It's like the absolute sludge shit has got to finish being shoved out the pipe.
Yeah.
And cleaned out before things will change. And unfortunately, that doesn't happen overnight. That can take years sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And also, these studios really need to learn. It's like, stop going absolute balls to the wall, throwing money at all these live service things or other stuff, beginning development, and then basically realizing it's a fail and stopping. It's like, the time to stop, the time to fail is in the concepting stage.
Yeah.
You're wasting money by basically rushing the concepting stage straight into development and going, oh shit, this is actually not viable. As soon as they wake up to that and stop doing it, they'll be in better positions.
Well, this is one of the reasons why I'm glad that I've got my deck now, so I can take part in early access stuff, because I do believe that Schedule 1 is still early access night. That's when I need to get around to buying and playing. But I do love the quote that's in Subnautica 2 here, where they say, why early access? And they say, we make our best games when you are involved from the start. The earlier you play, the faster we hear what you want. This is how we have historically built our games. By involving you in the development process and iterating on your feedback, we build better games. Okay, I get that, but obviously based on what you said earlier about the complaints about killing animals, yeah, let's see where that one goes.
Well, it's also the irony is, like, you say that, yet whoever it is you're letting control your social media, they're kind of BTFOing that particular rhetoric, because people are saying, oh, can I suggest this? Or I've got a little bit of a problem with that. Can we discuss, or can you tell me sort of what your idea is going forward with this, and getting basically shat on?
Yeah.
So I'm like, sorry, you're already blowing that out. You're saying, oh, we want to hear from you. Well, at the same time, on the social media, you whoever's running it's doing the absolute opposite of anyone who's trying to have their say or ask a question is getting shat on. So you need to fire whoever that is, or literally take their control away and put the money you've earned into basically getting a basic PR person.
Yeah. So, final thing before we finish this one, have you guys got anything you're looking forward to later on this year, release-wise?
Again, I've been playing a lot more AA and smaller games.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Gravekeeper 2. I'm enjoying Gravekeeper at the moment. There's a new Deep Rock coming out. So we'll see what happens with that. It looks like an expansion. It's sort of more roguelike, and we'll see. Again, the fans seem to be a bit meh about it because it's essentially Deep Rock with some, Deep Rock reheated, reskinned with a few extra bits and pieces on it. It's more of a roguelike.
Yeah.
So you'll see, but again, at the moment, it's kind of, the industry's kind of sort of going quiet at the moment because they're going through sort of a slow crash.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing. It's just means, again, focusing on the smaller ones. So I'm just waiting. I said, with the games I'm playing, it's usually being recommended to me by word of mouth, and it's usually the smaller stuff.
And Peter, what about you?
The only one I'm really waiting on, I'm just waiting to see how they do, whether it's going to be this year or next year, is just the third game they've got in development for the My Time series.
Yeah.
Because they did My Time at Porsche as their first ever game. Then they released My Time at Sandrock, and now because My Time at Sandrock blew them out of the water as far as funding went, and I will give them props, it's absolutely a massive game.
Yeah.
They're now they're speed running into doing their third one, and I'll give them props, and they've learned from each one and they're evolving each one, and they're aiming for the end towards the end of this year, but they're also working on the basis of we'll put it out there when we've got plenty enough to put it in early access, not anytime sooner.
Yeah. Oh, I got made aware of one on Twitter this week, and I never thought I'd be into this kind of gaming, but I love the look of this one, and I'm going to share it with you now. And this is Dreadmore, basically a fishing game with monsters, first person, but it looks absolutely fun to me. And well, based on what I've watched from the Steam previews alone and what they put on Twitter, catching monster fish, basically, I could see myself putting some hours into this. I rather like the look of it.
I wonder if the same studio that made the other one, or was it Dredge?
It might be. I mean,
I know that was their first one, and they were looking to make iterate more on that.
I mean, let's have a look. Well, there's Dredge. So,
who is it?
It was made by.
I know there's different people. No,
Dream
it's
Dock.
Black Salt. Black Salt Games made Dredge.
Yeah. But this one, I don't know why, but it just piques my interest. I like the look of it, the whole customization of the fishing gear, like this bit here, for example, that it's showing, and obviously a bit of exploration. I mean, look at that. That looks fun. I like that. So this one's caught my attention. So I'll be watching for it. And at the moment, as per the Steam page, it's unknown if it's supported on Steam Deck, but I just hope it is.
Well, if this is one of their first games, or it's not finished yet, then they can't really say it's going to be Steam Deck compatible unless they decide to make it.
But I like this one here. 200,000 wish lists already. I like that. And as they say here, thank you, which they are for their gratitude. Again, positive for me.
Well, if that's interesting, you might like Dredge. It's a bit simpler, but it's similar, but it's a bit more Cthulhian.
All right, so we'll leave it there for now. We'll come back to the end of the year to discuss the rest of the year in gaming. I don't have high hopes, like I said, but I'll try to be optimistic. But we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll see the Steam machine. We might not.
Well, it all comes down to when they sort out that, when prices stabilize. Hence why they're holding off, because they don't want to give one price and then have to turn around and go, "Oh, sorry guys, we have to up the price because parts have jumped in price."
Yeah.
They'd rather sit on it and wait till things are stable so they can consistently say it's going to be
I expect that you'll have a release date by the end of the year.
We'll have a look. I'm keen to see, but for now, I'm just going to happily play on my deck and
it's not like there aren't plenty of games already out there to play. If people are constantly going, "Oh, I need something new," and it's like there's plenty of things that are new to you out there. You just need to go find them.
Yeah. But for now, we'll leave it there. So, as always, my thanks to Peter and Wombat for joining me on this stream. We'll be back in a couple of weeks to discuss what there is to discuss of the world in comic books.
Yeah, speaking of crashing industries.
Yeah.
Everything in the entertainment industry is crashing right now. Some much harder than others, and some much more deservedly than others.
And then a couple of weeks after that, of course, we'll turn to movies and TV, and I know we're going to have some fun with that one. But for now, I'll sign off here. But again, thanks to Peter and Walmart for joining me, and to anyone that's listened in on this. We'll see you next time. Take care for now. Bye-bye.